Remember when cars had personalities bigger than your neighbor's Christmas light display? Those were the days when automobiles didn't just transport you from point A to point B, they practically introduced themselves at every intersection. Today's vehicles may be safer, more efficient, and smarter than a game show contestant, but they've lost something essential along the way. Here are 5 reasons why the cars of yesteryear had more character than a Tennessee Williams play. 1. They actually made distinctive sounds. Modern cars purr like contented house cats. Their engines so quiet you need to check the dashboard to confirm they're running. But old cars? They announced their arrival 3 blocks away with the automotive equivalent of a brass band. Each make and model had its own signature symphony. The Volkswagen Beetle puttered along with its distinctive air-cooled chatter, sounding like a sewing machine that had learned to drive. Harley-Davidson motorcycles weren't the only machines with that unmistakable rumble. Classic American muscle cars like the Dodge Charger and Plymouth Cuda could wake the dead with their throaty V8 roars. Even the humble Ford Model T had character in its coughs and sputters, though admittedly that character sometimes included refusing to start on cold mornings. These days, manufacturers spend millions engineering their vehicles to whisper rather than speak. The most exciting sound you'll hear from a modern car is the gentle ding reminding you to fasten your seatbelt. Where's the personality in that? It's like replacing Frank Sinatra with elevator music. 2. They required real skill to operate. Driving an old car was like conducting an orchestra while juggling flaming torches. You needed to master the clutch, coordinate the choke, pump the gas pedal just right, and pray to whatever automotive deities might be listening. Starting a car on a winter morning required the patience of Job and the mechanical sympathy of a Swiss watchmaker. Modern vehicles start with the push of a button and drive themselves to the grocery store if you ask them nicely. Automatic transmissions shift smoother than a politician changing positions. Power steering responds to the gentlest touch, and climate control maintains the perfect temperature without human intervention. It's all very convenient, but where's the adventure? Old cars demanded your full attention and participation. You couldn't text while driving because you needed both hands, both feet, and occasionally a third hand you wished you had for the mysterious lever that might or might not improve your situation. Every trip was an achievement worth celebrating, especially if you arrived with the same number of passengers you started with. 3. Each one was beautifully imperfect. Today's manufacturing processes produce vehicles with the consistency of McDonald's French fries, predictably identical no matter where you go. But classic cars were assembled by human hands, guided by human judgment, which meant each one developed its own quirks and personality traits. Your 1967 Mustang might have had a passenger door that only opened if you lifted the handle while performing a small rain dance. The radio in your 1972 Oldsmobile might have preferred AM stations on cloudy days and FM when the sun was shining. These weren't flaws. They were features that made your car uniquely yours. Modern quality control eliminates these charming inconsistencies, producing vehicles that work exactly as intended every single time. How boring is that? It's like having a friend who never tells jokes, never forgets your birthday, and always arrives precisely on time. Technically perfect, but you wouldn't write songs about them. The chrome bumpers alone had more personality than entire modern car lots. They weren't perfectly aligned by robots programmed to tolerances measured in microns. Instead, they were installed by Ralph or Betty, who might have been thinking about dinner plans or wondering if their favorite baseball team would win the pennant. This human touch meant every car had subtle variations that made it special. 4. They wore their heritage on their sleeve. Old cars looked like they came from somewhere specific and were proud of it. Detroit iron screamed American muscle with fins that could double as aircraft wings and chrome that reflected your neighbor's jealousy. European sports cars were elegantly understated like well-tailored suits with wheels. Japanese imports were efficiently purposeful, wasting nothing on unnecessary flourishes. You could identify a car's homeland from 2 blocks away and often guess the decade within a year or two. The 1959 Cadillac Eldorado looked like it was designed by someone who thought rocket ships were insufficiently flashy. The Mini Cooper appeared to have been styled by someone who believed cars should be as cute as they were functional. Today's global automotive industry produces vehicles that could have been designed anywhere and assembled everywhere. A modern SUV made in Alabama might look suspiciously similar to one manufactured in South Korea, which bears an uncanny resemblance to another built in Germany. It's automotive globalization at its most homogeneous. 5. They demanded your respect and attention. Modern cars coddle their drivers like overprotective parents. They beep when you're too close to something, flash warning lights when you're driving tired, and some even apply the brakes when they think you're not paying sufficient attention. It's like having a backseat driver permanently installed in your dashboard. Classic cars operated on a different philosophy entirely. They assumed you were an adult capable of making your own decisions, even spectacularly poor ones. If you wanted to drive too fast around a corner, they'd let you learn about physics the hard way. If you forgot to check your oil level, they'd remind you by seizing the engine at the most inconvenient possible moment. This relationship fostered genuine automotive knowledge and mechanical sympathy. Drivers understood their vehicles because survival depended on it. You learned to interpret every sound, vibration, and peculiar behavior because your car was constantly communicating its needs, wants, and occasional temper tantrums. The bond between driver and machine was genuine and earned through shared experiences, both triumphant and terrifying. Modern cars are undoubtedly superior in nearly every measurable way, but they've sacrificed character for competence. Sometimes progress means gaining everything except the things that matter most.